Here comes the money to AEW. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, and we have a special breaking news edition here of the WrestleTalk Podcast, which is brought to you by us and Fightful, because we had received... We're not going to go into how we were introduced to this story, but we came into receipt of some images of Tony Khan and Shane McMahon having a private meeting.
Yeah, so we had there was a couple of images. One of them was like Shane outside on the phone. Another one was like Shane in a corridor. But the big one was the image that is currently being circulated around on Twitter a lot. It's Shane and Tony Khan in a meeting room together. And when we saw the images, our first thought was like, whoa, this is insane. The second thought is, all right, well, how real is this?
Yeah.
Like, how genuine are these photos?
And it had the WrestleTalk stamp on, so we knew it was pretty much there already.
For clarification, because there were some people who won't understand sarcasm, that we put that watermark on.
Yes. Then we worked with Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful to verify those images, and of course Sean did some of his own reporting work, and we got more information. And the information is, before 6 weeks ago, when these rumors started to go around, which we'll get into how the whole big story started shortly, but the idea of Shane McMahon going to AEW or in talks with Tony Khan was not on anyone's radar 6 weeks ago.
No.
And Tony Khan and Shane McMahon had never met, they'd never spoken. But then, on an episode of the Grilling JR podcast, Conrad Thompson shared a story where someone they both know had said Shane McMahon had spoken to an AEW wrestler, just chatting about hypothetically what it would look like if he came in.
So if you're angry about this news and you're looking for someone to blame JR.
Yeah.
Because if blame JR and Conrad, if they hadn't have done this anecdote, we wouldn't have... That's the domino. Like, that's the small domino here that leads to Shane McMahon is all elite.
You showed me a tweet from Conrad before we went on air.
Yeah, because someone had tweeted, like, when this news first came out, like, late June, someone had tweeted very angrily about Conrad being like, this is all like clickbait and there's absolutely no way Shane will go to All Elite and here's all the proof that you need of that. And Conrad just retweeted that about 5 minutes ago, being like, top of the morning to you. So he dug that tweet out to be like, well, turns out it wasn't all that clickbaity, was it?
That's a sign of a long memory, a long bitter memory. And Tony Khan and Shane McMahon had never spoken before that moment. No. But then, that happened, and Tony Khan was asked about it in interviews, and he said, well, I'm open to talking to him. I really respect the guy as a wrestler and an executive. And then Mercedes Moné posted in her newsletter a couple of weeks after that. It was the day after Forbidden Door in New York, New Jersey.
And I think there had been a report at that time being like, oh yeah, I saw Mercedes Moné and Shane McMahon talking. And that was just sort of like rumor and innuendo. And then Mercedes Moné was like, yeah, I had a talk with Shane McMahon at an airport and he gave me his number.
Yeah, by all accounts, just a freak coincidence. They bumped into each other in line for coffee, I'm sure at a private lounge. And they got chatting, and this is Mercedes' own words, Shane gave me his number.
Yeah, smooth.
So we don't know, this is just me speculating. Shane gave Mercedes the number. Maybe he's like, hey, if that finds its way into Tony Khan.
Whoops-a-daisy, did this end up in someone else's phone?
And then, more people ask. At any time in the next couple of weeks, Tony Khan was in an interview, people would ask him about Shane McMahon. Would Shane McMahon come in? Because it was the hot topic of conversation. And then it sort of died down a bit. And then we received this image and worked with Fightful to find out more about it. And the Khan has been open to talking with McMahon for quite some time, apparently. And
from what we can gather, he has been like, if people have approached him backstage to ask about Shane, he's been very open. Mm-hmm. He's not been like cagey about it at all. He's just been very open about like, oh yeah, I'd work with Shane. And
also the subject of discussion was the possibility of them working together.
Yeah.
In All Elite Wrestling.
Possibility, the quote we had was the possibility of moving forwards and like what a relationship between the two of them would look like moving forwards.
But that's all we know. Like that could be a behind the scenes thing. That could be a Woo Energy brand deal
Well, I think
sponsorship
that
thing.
brand deal's over now. That's why Ric Flair's not around anymore.
Well, no, I'm saying like
But-
that.
oh,
So
sorry,
if
like
Shane
that, sorry.
McMahon,
I think we're going to say he becomes the face of Woo Energy for AEW.
he'd have his own sweaty drink. Hey, do you get sweaty when you wrestle? I do too. Here's Hydration Shane.
So the other thing that we had learned from this, working with Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select, who've got their post about it up on their free feed on Fightful Select, is that this was kept very close to the chest. This was a very, very like heavily guarded thing. So it's kind of cool that we're able to sit here and talk about it.
As Twitter explodes.
As Twitter explodes around us. I saw yesterday, because we were working on this, and we were talking about it, like, what do we do with this? So we started working with Sean and this and the other. And then I started to see, like, Sean posted up yesterday, I'm going to be dropping a news story tomorrow. And things like John Alba and Andrew Zarian started like adding in their 2 cents and stuff. I don't know if they'd heard elsewhere and stuff of what it was about. And John Alba was like, I think this might break the internet for a few hours.
Yeah. And I of course, saw that post from John Alba, and someone had shared it on Reddit. And I was like, oh, I wonder what people think it is. And everyone's like, oh, it's WrestleTalk. It's probably something London-based.
It's a UK-based thing.
Yeah. And I was like...
if only you knew.
Oh, it's been fun to sit on this for a day. And also terribly nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were a ball of energy. Like, yesterday were quite bad. But I've been filming the finale of the Monday Night War today for partsFUNknown. So I wasn't in the office when the news like actually officially went up and live. But I got back to the office and you said, buddy, I needed you like an hour ago.
Dave Bradshaw, I couldn't sit down. I couldn't eat. Dave Bradshaw and Tempest. And it was, partly through excitement, but also because we don't usually do this. I just got nervous. Dave Bradshaw and Tempest had to sit me down for 10 minutes and play a wrestling quiz game with me to just distract me. And I couldn't do any of it because I was too distracted. Anyway,
so when you saw the images, what was your first reaction?
Well, before we do that, we should say, please send in some Omega chats. I guess you'd call these, because it's AEW focused. WrestleTalk.com/support. We're reading out your ideas, and let's just fantasy book this and think about it for a while. But yeah, on my thoughts when we first saw it was just shock. Because not only is it like, it would have been shocking just to hear that happened if we read it on a report elsewhere. But it's the candid photo of them both in the room.
Looking at the camera.
I was like, oh my God. Oh, this is big. Alex
Quinn in the ring said it's a very TMZ style photo.
So the meeting happened on Monday. So it's very, very fresh. But in terms of, like, am I excited about the possibility of Shane McMahon working in AEW? And I've said this from as soon as that story first broke or first came out. Yes, I am all here for the chaos. I think there are really good storyline ways to integrate Shane into the AEW world. They have really veered off in a path with the Elite storyline that I just think he is tailor-made for. Because how is the Elite as a kayfabe group getting funded? Tony Khan's got billions as part of his family. But the Elite, sure, they're paid. But they're paid by Tony Khan.
They're EVPs.
They're EVPs, but Tony Khan's signing the checks. And that, to me, is a bit of a conflict of interests for the storyline. But, oh, my God. If someone were to buy kayfabe, buy half the company, and that's where the Elite get their money from, where the Rainmaker gets his reign from.
And you can do something like, there is a signature on the contract, but it doesn't read Khan, it reads, and you do the proper like WCW, the simulcast Nitro style deal. Because we were talking about this in the office yesterday and stuff, and Dan and I had finished the podcast. Dan actually dropped a Shane McMahon reference in yesterday's podcast, looking to see if I would, not like I would bite on it, but just say, like, see if I, a little twinkle in his eye and stuff. And I was like, I nearly said something. I was like, no, don't say anything now. But we were talking about it like after the show and stuff. And he said, what would you do? And instantly I was like, I'd put him in the Elite.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that for me is the thing to do, is you put him in the Elite and you build to Shane versus Kenny.
Well, Shane versus Tony for me.
Well, that's my pure chaos brain thing. But I would do the best bout machine versus the best wrestler in the world. And that is how you would market it. Like, we know that Shane isn't, but the Elite markets him as the best wrestler in the world versus the best bout machine in Kenny Omega.
The heel heat as well, for like someone like Okada going, no, Shane, You should take on Kenny Omega.
That's so good.
You're like, because you know they're sycophants. They're getting paid by Shane. If they go, Kazuchika Okada going, you are the better wrestler.
You are the best wrestler in the world.
It'd be marvelous. Of course, we all say we are aware that this isn't a popular opinion.
No.
Upstairs in the office, I would say it's leaning more towards please God no.
Yeah, I think Tempest in particular is very against the idea of this happening.
Dan doesn't want it either.
Well, no, you and I are looking at this because this is chaos. Like, this is in a real world. Do I want this? Probably not. But I want to see the timeline where it does happen, and I kind of want to just like, oh yeah, let's see where this path takes us. I want to go down that chaos trolling option of what happens. What does the world look like? What does AEW look like if Shane McMahon joins All Elite Wrestling? I just want to see what that looks like. I'm all for the chaos. Do I think it's going to make good TV? Probably not. Do I think it'll lead to great matches? Probably not. But man, just to see the reaction online would be totally worth it for me.
Oh yeah, there's panic booking, which is, I would say, the all-in fight footage being screened. I wasn't a fan of that at all. That's chaos, but I didn't enjoy that chaos. Shane McMahon showing up in AEW, that's the chaos I can get behind. And we said when we were talking about it yesterday, it just feels like wrestling's become like too good recently.
I miss the days of the 2022 Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, or like, boom, here's a retribution. Boom, we're going to throw some crazy stuff at the wall.
And what I mean by 2022 Royal Rumble is the reports that came out the following day was like, Shane booked the Rumble himself. He wanted to have a run with Seth Rollins. His music was played at the wrong time, and Randy Orton said, well, I'm not going out to that music. Like, that's the chaos news that I kind of like love about professional wrestling, because that's wild and wacky stuff that makes wrestling fun, and it makes the job that we do very fun. But both companies are so straight-laced at the moment and just making a good product that after a while you're just like, there's only so many times I can watch a good match. There's only so many times I can watch an hour-long match between Will Ospreay and MJF. There's only so many times I can watch a great pay-per-view by Triple H. Maybe sometimes I just want that little bit of chaos for a couple of days.
And it's fun to just, it's fun to hate watch stuff sometimes. Because we have had... we did the best matches of the year, and we're like, we do a worst matches of the year, and we thought, well, apart from Jimmy and Jey Uso, which isn't even just a boring match.
Yeah, it's just a boring match.
Like, it's all been good. It's all good creative.
We might not do that award this year because there's not enough options in there.
We struggled last year to get enough. But then I think it was Pete who said to us, you say wrestling's gone straight-laced, but this year The Rock tried to take Cody Rhodes' place in the WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
That's great. And then, like, obviously all the Vince stuff, WWE Raw going to Netflix.
CM Punk returning.
The all-in footage being aired. And like, oh yeah, you're right, 2024 has been crazy. But not since April.
Also, I would say, sure, The Rock coming in and stealing Cody Rhodes' spot at WrestleMania was a wild story, but then it got sensible. And cooler heads prevailed. And then it just became a good wrestling storyline that I really enjoyed.
I think you're forgetting how much craziness there was at that time when Rock was just like, I'm going to drop a 20-minute F-bomb promo on Twitter. And I was like, what? You can't do that. He's like, I'm The Rock, try stop me.
But he became a good heel character. No, the chaos version of that is they just go, nope, we're doing it. It's Rock versus Roman in the main event, and Rock's going to win the title, and he's going to beat Roman Reigns. That's the chaos version of this, not the good story we got in the end.
Well, should we see what people are saying, their suggestions on the Omega Chats? WrestleTalk.com/support. Get in your suggestions there.
Well, Matt kicks us off here to say, Shane joining AEW would be both the worst signing and the funniest signing in the company history. I guess AEW can't be where the best wrestle without the best wrestler in the world. Someone in the live chat said he should be called the Shane Maker.
Oh, that's bad.
Okada being like, I may be the Rainmaker. You're the Shane Maker.
If Okada retires his Rainmaker name and gives it to Shane in a sort of finger poke of doom.
Yeah. Oh, so great.
They could go down so many bad.
Oh, no. Evan here has been a member for 31 months in a row, said, hey lads, the whole story is giving me Succession vibes.
Well, yeah, I suppose like when Kendall would go and try and make it on his own in another company, but I do think it's different.
He does go, I mean, if we're going to go to the Succession vibes, spoilers for anything here, he is the one that approaches the guy that eventually does to be like, hey, you should buy them. When he was trying to screw the company over.
So this was Meltzer's speculation, not a report, like a month ago when these sort of conversations were first being had. And it was, well, is Shane really interested in going to AEW? Or is he interested in looking like he's going to AEW? So Triple H and Nick Khan are like, okay, we'll talk to Shane, we'll bring him in for more money.
Yeah.
Because it's in WWE's best interests, I think, to stop this happening.
Yeah. But I mean, what if this is what if we're the domino effect? We're the next ripple that actually leads to a Shane McMahon return.
At SummerSlam.
I mean, I hadn't even thought SummerSlam, but just, I was thinking brackets general, but yeah, at SummerSlam. Matthew here said, as the last remaining member of the unironic Shane McMahon fan club, I'm buzzing for this. Even just 1 or 2 matches, silly multi-man brawls with a couple of big moments, give me that. If they can use the theme, the crowd reaction would be generational.
Yeah, I've seen people say Shane McMahon versus Darby Allin.
Oh, yeah.
But like, of course, that's your first match that you do. You could Shane McMahon in Blood and Guts, Shane McMahon in Anarchy in the Arena, Shane McMahon in an exploding barbed wire death match.
No. Here's the match. Here's what I'm booking. All right, I know I said Shane versus Kenny, like that's the ultimate match you would do. Shane versus Eddie Kingston.
Oh, whoa, I want that.
Yeah, like that's what I would do. Also, Shane goes to AEW. That means that Shane can go to New Japan. That means that Shane can go to CMLL.
Rev Pro.
That means that Shane can go to Rev Pro. Like MJF is wrestling with Rev Pro next Sunday.
Oh my God, Shane McMahon in the G1.
I was going to say Shane McMahon at York Hall.
Shane McMahon at Wrestle Kingdom. Oh.
And there's someone in the chat who was like, Luke, do you really miss that? Yeah! Look at the madness we're booking in our heads here. This is so much fun. Misha here said, let's be real here. The only way to debut Shane is an angle with the patriarchy. Christian's initial promo would be more brutal than a CZW match. Looking forward to the SummerSlam watch party.
Of course, there's Big Daddy issues there, but I don't think realistically you could say anything. Christian wouldn't have to. He could just stand on the ramp, look at Shane, and smirk.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd would, that's all you have to do there.
Homer Star here said, me, can't wait for Ricochet to debut at All In. Tony Khan, can't wait for Shane McMahon at All In.
Ricochet.
Mayor Paintsville Dan said, hello, Luke. Hello, Ollie. Hope you're doing well. We should stay reasonable here. It's just talks, but I see how it is. Dustin wins a title, and all of a sudden people are like, Shane now, where's the money to be made? Put the AEW title on Shane and have him feud with, he says Jay. I don't know if that's supposed to be Jeff Jarrett, perhaps. He's just got Jay.
What about Shane McMahon taking over Ring of Honor?
Which is another potential thing. Like if you're doing
if you're doing the full Invasion redo.
I'm just thinking, like, not so much as an on-screen character, but you just bring him in to be like, look, I don't have all the time to book 2 promotions. We're looking to do more with Ring of Honor. We're looking to take Ring of Honor a bit more seriously. We have now booked a venue here where we're booking like 4 weeks of taping in advance, the way that TNA does it, the way that actually Ring of Honor would do it as well. So I need someone who can run this company. That's basically just the head of the promotion, that is head of creative. Have it be you. And then Shane can work with Jimmy Jacobs and whoever it is and have his team. And that is then the team that runs ROH. So it's not a case of Shane is all elite, Shane comes in for blood and guts. Shane just becomes the de facto booker of Ring of Honor. Which
is sort of what he wanted to do for the ECW relaunch about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little unscratched itch there that he could do that with. It all depends what Shane wants out of it as well. Does he want to run a wrestling promotion outside of his father's shadow? Or does he want to do a few more matches and get those crazy pops? Does he just want to come out on one episode for the insanity?
Yeah.
Does he just want to negotiate a return to WWE and this is a bit of leverage?
Could be. I mean, the moment if he comes out on stage and shakes hands with Tony Khan, that's the Vince Bischoff moment where you're like, never thought in my wildest... I mean, honestly, even the photo that is going around online at the moment is a photo I'm like, I still can't quite fathom that I'm looking at these two people.
And WrestleTalk is slap bang in the middle of them.
Hannah of the NRB Discord said, if Shane is going to Shane, I want to see Shane have a match with Darby just for the stunts.
There's no thing high enough for them to both jump off.
Well, I don't know, but there's actually a chat coming up later which may give you something high to jump off. Riga here said, I don't want Shane wrestling or booking in AEW, but I do think there's a potential as a big character manager gathering WWE-style guys. Big men like Wardlow and wrestling a more WWE style. He can still do some spots and bumps, but not matches.
So kind of do the original Outsiders gimmick, where it looks like it's a WWE sports entertainment invading force, but you never reference it like that because you'll get sued.
And Harriet here, who's been a member for 20 months in a row, said, hey guys, I'm honestly not mad at this. I'm intrigued as to how the future of this goes. If Shane did show up at All In, I would pop.
Oh, how would you not pop?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If you're looking for high things to jump off, I mean, there's Wembley Stadium.
Oh, my word.
Because he'd be in Stadium Stampedes.
Could we just run a poll? Do we have the ability to do that today?
I can put the poll up.
Yeah.
If you could just fill for time.
Do you want to see Shane McMahon in AEW? Yes or no? Just out of curiosity, because I feel like the chats that have come in, and certainly mine and yours opinions, is very much pro chaos.
Yeah.
But
and it is. It's just chaos based. I don't think this is a good move for AEW.
I mean, look, if it was a bad move, I would not be wanting the chaos. I think there are elements of this that could be a very good move for them. Just the mainstream name recognition. That'll be picked up everywhere. Mm-hmm. Someone with the surname McMahon is now helping this other wrestling company. I'm not saying it's going to be the thing that turns the tide in the AEW WWE momentum, but I think it could be a part of it. And also, they're still in the negotiation period. If Warner Bros. Discovery hear McMahon,
it's true,
and it's like you get all the benefits of the McMahon name without the toxic part of it.
He's not named.
He's not named.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. I think it could be a very good thing for them.
Yeah, you've actually convinced me ever so slightly on that, because I think I'm just thinking broader picture of just like, I think a lot of people would hate the idea of Shane McMahon going to AEW, but I think broader business-wise picture. A friend of mine is apoplectic about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. He is apoplectic about this news. I haven't heard him talk about the MCU since Endgame, but he is so angry about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, because he's just like, he's a classic, he's an iconic character. I hate that he's being cheapened by just this like return, and it's this reeks of desperation. I'm like, yeah, because they're desperate. Like Marvel need this. The return for the Marvels was so bad. He's like, just make good movies. Like, buddy, they tried that. He was like, just do what they did in 2008. I was like, well, they could do that in 2008 when they won a $30 billion industry. Now they have to do things like this. So I can look at it from the complete business aspect and be like, look, I don't like this, but as a business move, it's such a good idea to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. So from your perspective there, and I completely agree, actually, it's a really good bit. I didn't even thought about the TV rights. It's a really, really smart player there. Ket here said, if Tony and Shane do end up working together, would you say this is the biggest signing for AEW in terms of how much knowledge and history Shane can offer to AEW?
No, nothing even comes close to CM Punk.
As the biggest signing ever?
Yeah, for AEW.
I don't know, a McMahon.
For Punk coming back, genuine ratings mover,
Yes, I totally agree on that one, but I think a McMahon going to the competition that has been started to be a direct competitor to a McMahon empire.
God, McMahon going against WWE.
That's what I mean, which is why I'm thinking like maybe I think it would be the biggest signing in AEW. It'd be like if Shane signed for WCW, like in the in the 90s. You're right, in March of 2001. And Rob here has been a member for 35 months in a row, said Shane shows up at Wembley in AEW and makes it there before a McMahonless AEW gets there while discussing WrestleMania there is pretty peak McMahon.
Wait, just say that again.
I'm going to read that one more time. Shane showing up at Wembley for AEW and makes it there before a McMahonless WWE gets there while discussing WrestleMania there is peak petty McMahon.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna do a show at Wembley? You're gonna do WrestleMania in London, are you, Trips? Now I'm here.
Yeah, I did it before you did.
Shall we see what the poll results are?
Poll results are, I mean, it is pretty much it's a 70-30 split, really. It's 71 in favor.
Wow. I'd say that's a positive.
Yeah. A lot of people as well thinking like it's that they think it would be the bigger signing than CM Punk.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I disagree, but it's close. It's close.
I mean, it's well, and we should also say as well, as we know at the moment, this is not an official thing. We're just sort of doing this. We wanted to do some fancy booking around this. Also, of course, we're excited because we, co-broke this news with Fightful Select, so we're just like a bit giddy about this. But it's not a done deal. He is not going to show up on Dynamite tonight.
These were talks.
Or tomorrow even. This is just talks. This is just talks to see what could possibly happen. Oh, it is tonight. It is tonight. It's Wednesday.
Yeah, Dynamite.
So it's not saying he's showing up on Dynamite. It's not saying he's going to have a match at all in. But them having a meeting face-to-face, the first time that they've had a meeting face-to-face as far as we can tell, is pretty epic news.
I want to see some signs.
Yeah. Oh, if you're going to Dynamite
some
tonight.
signs in Dynamite, yeah.
Yeah. Here comes the money. With our logo on it. Put our watermark over your sign. Raphael, by the way, has just said, while I personally don't want to see Shane anywhere near booking or AEW, much less ROH, especially after the Royal Rumble, it would make sense if he was head of the ROH board that had been established by ROH TV by Stokely and Tall Paul. So if he's actually an on-screen character just for Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Don't hate it, mate.
Well, should we wrap it up there?
I think we should, yeah. So I know a lot of you were expecting our SummerSlam predictions to be going up around this time, but this is a bonus podcast that we've done. So that'll be going up later today in about sort of 4 hours time. So you can check out our SummerSlam predictions. We'll be back tomorrow with the Dynamite review. And then on Saturday, over on the WrestleTalk News channel, our live reactions to SummerSlam through Hooked on Wrestling. Click your link in the video description to get your tickets today. And what's the other thing to plug? On Sunday, myself and Dan Layton will be here in the studio reviewing SummerSlam. And then we'll see what happens on Monday.
Yeah.
But until then, I've been Luco and DAD. That's been Ollie Davis. Jam that jam.